Stay tuned now for a half hour of excitement, thrills, drama, and glorious entertainment. But first,
The Paranormal Spin.
Welcome to another episode of The Paranormal Spin. On today's show, the topic is
Haunted.
This is a laser temperature sensor. It might be used by an air conditioner repairman to check the temperature of ducts that might be high up in the ceiling. A paranormal investigator, like myself, might use this to measure the temperature of any cold spots we run into while we're investigating a so-called haunted location. But, although you've heard the term quite a bit, what exactly is haunted?
Haunted. Ghosts, apparitions, or other supernatural beings are what makes a person, place, or thing haunted. You might truly believe your grandparents' house is haunted, or it might just seem that way because of the scary creaks and groans in the night, the cobwebs in dark corners, and the dim lighting. You can also describe a person as haunted when they are obsessed with or tormented by someone or something. However, a scientific determination of whether or not a haunting exists will always require some type of measurable evidence, such as video, audio, or digital photograph. And lastly, hauntings always involves a person, place, or thing.
So, are all hauntings the same, or are they all different? Well, I've come up with 3 different categories that helps to understand it a little bit better. Basically, there are 3 different types. There's the interactive, semi-interactive, and non-interactive. Stewie, can you show us a little video to give us an example of what we're talking about? Show us something on interactive.
Sister, you can hear me? Sister, don't you hear him?
Awesome choice, Stewie. In this scene, Sam Wheat, the ghost, discovers for the first time there's actually somebody still living on the other side who can actually hear and speak with him. Good job, Stewie. You're really getting the hang of this. Can you show us something on semi-interactive? Okay, I think I understand what Stewie's trying to tell us here. Regarding the Swedish chef, we can see and hear him, but we're not sure what he's saying, and we're not even sure if he's talking to us. Sometimes I forget he's only 5 years old. Good job, Stewie. You think you could give us an example of a non-interactive type of haunting?
Now let's see if we can't figure out what you are, my little friend.
Okay, not quite paranormal, but I get it. In this example, old Ben Kenobi can only play Princess Leia's recording. He can't speak to her or interact with her in any way, and she can't hear him. The categories we use to describe the 3 types of hauntings can also be used in another type of anomaly a person may collect during an investigation, and that is EVPs.
Within ghost hunting and parapsychology, electronic voice phenomena, EVP, are sounds found on electronic recordings that are interpreted as spirit voices. Enthusiasts consider EVP to be a form of paranormal phenomenon often found in recordings with static or other background noise.
And just to give you an idea of the high-tech audio equipment I use,
It's a dinosaur.
Thanks, Stewie. Well, it is a little old, but believe it or not, this is probably one of the best ways to capture an EVP. I know. You would think in this day and age that digital would be the better option, but it's not. On the investigations I've gone on, I'd rather take an analog tape recorder and a chromium oxide tape over a digital recorder any day. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here are 3 EVPs that I personally captured at the various locations. Okay.
Why do you keep coming here?
What is your name?
What a lovely singing voice you must have.
FYI, microcassettes work just as well. Well, here's something that might suppress your appetite, especially if you consider where it happens. How about a haunted restaurant? Notice this woman sees the chair move while the other woman hears it. Then she gets up to investigate it. And that wasn't the first time. Only 2 nights before, in the same restaurant, this happened. In this next video, this is a perfect example of physically interactive kinetic activity.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
And now a word from our sponsor.
I want you to hear this description of a much-wanted product. Listen closely. Apprehend it at once. The reward is high.
Jewelry can connect you to a loved one. Bring a memory. A precious gift that will last for generations. Many pieces are unique and one of a kind. A great gift for a spiritual friend. Make a statement or show your style to the world. All our jewelry is handmade in the USA using natural stones and gemstones. No matter what the occasion, we're sure to have just what you need. Go to Etsy.com, then type in "I'm feeling it," or click the link in the description. Thanks for your time. Now back to the spin.
Where are you going? Stewie? Stewie, it's not about what, it's about why. For example, why is there a haunting in the first place? And why did it happen? First, we have to make some assumptions. And that is, are we talking about a human spirit? Because if we're not, then that opens up a can of worms that we just don't have time to deal with. Now, let's see. According to popular belief, spirits can become trapped on Earth because of some emotional trauma they experienced at the time of death, like jumping off the Eiffel Tower with a homemade parachute. Okay, let's say you start off with 100 people from all walks of life. And over the period of 100 years or so, it would be fair to say most of those people would have expired. How many people out of that 100 would be forced to roam the earth as disembodied souls just because they died in some kind of traumatic fashion. And the reason I'm asking is because human history is filled with so many traumatic deaths. You would think there'd be more ghosts haunting the earth than there are live humans. And let's not forget the things part of haunted. Case in point, remember the movie Annabelle, which was based on a true story about a haunted doll? Well, here's a clip that's so creepy, it even makes my skin crawl.
Esther! Esther!
The real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll currently on display at the owner's house, Ed and Lorraine, in Monroe, Connecticut. You know, as a child, I loved ventriloquist dummies, but as a paranormal investigator, not so much. Introducing Mr. Fritz, one of the creepiest things I've seen in a long, long time. So, as a spirit, instead of being trapped on Earth because of some traumatic lifetime experience, what if there was another explanation?
And that is that we become addicted to being human. And so after we exit this particular life sojourn, we're saying instead of going home and what I call having escape velocity to go home, some things happen in living that life as you go through this, living these successive lives until you get locked in tighter and tighter and tighter, till you are locked in being human so tight that you forget where you came from.
Well, that's it for our show. And here's the moment we've all been waiting for. The spin.
On our next show, lucid dreaming. If you want to see more of The Spin, don't forget to like and subscribe.